Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Career Coach Office Hours. Sorry about that. Tuesdays at noon Eastern, I like to spend a little bit of time talking with you about job search because I believe that it doesn't have to be as hard, difficult, or as painful as it is for so many of you. I want to start by admitting, the economy for those of you who are on LinkedIn is awful. It remains so despite a jobs report that the media has trumpeted as being fabulous. 250,000 new jobs. Oh, wonderful. But when you actually read it, you discover that the biggest category is healthcare. The second biggest healthcare category is government. And the third one is social assistance programs. More than half of the jobs created in this past month were completely unrelated to anything that anyone on LinkedIn is involved with. And then when you go further, the next two categories that are sizable are leisure and hospitality, which explains why you can get a bartender to serve you in a restaurant or a waiter to come over to you, as well as, what's the other one again? I want to say retail. And retail is going to diminish in January because in the model that the government uses at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, retail jobs come to an end in January because they work with the assumption that they don't need as many people because Christmas is over. So the long and the short of it is the reason you're struggling is that government and government adjacent programs like in healthcare, which is substantially paid for by government, or insurance, and social assistance programs, which is definitely paid for by government agencies, are the big employers in the country right now. So the long and the short of it is you have to be ready and able to promote yourself, to job search like an all-star, because frankly, well, most of you can do the job that you're trying to do, but you're competing. You're competing with other people who are also capable. And the result winds up being with that different skill set needed to find a job than do a job, you're at a loss. You focused on doing a great job rather than marketing and promoting yourself and maintaining a network that's going to serve you going forward. So I just want to encourage you that if you've got a question for me today, put it into chat so I can answer it live. Also, I'm going to encourage you, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. Mention that you saw this because I like knowing I'm helping some folks. Once we're connected, your network is going to be a lot larger because I'll just speak from the perspective of I'm member 7653 of LinkedIn. And although there are people with larger connections than I do, larger numbers of connections or followers than I do, my first level connections become your second levels, and that's going to help you going forward. So again, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. I'm going to leave that up on the screen for a minute. And now I'm going to tell you about something I've been doing for in January. This offer is going to run through the end of January 31st. So at midnight, February 1st, this offer is going away. I'm not going to offer it at any other point this year. And I'll just say, I've been seeing so many more open to work messages in my feed now since the beginning of the year. Layoffs got postponed until January. There are even more, and I know many of you have been out of work for even longer than just a few weeks. So what I've decided to do is offer free insider access to JobSearch.Community. So if you go there, there's some free stuff on the homepage. Download that, enjoy it, use it, do what you will with it, other than give it away to other people. But become an insider at JobSearch.Community. You get access to all my video courses, books, and guides free. And they will help you with your job search. Now, to find this, just scroll down and you'll see Become an Insider. Now, I've got 6 tiers of service there. This is the $49 a month tier. Enjoy it. use it as you see fit. If you need coaching from me, yes, I'll charge you for that. You can become a higher tiered member. And yes, you're going to get some of the promotional stuff, but there's no pressure from me to join anything other than what I'm giving you for free. I'm not going to take down the autoresponders. I'll just simply say, become an insider for free. And the way to do that is at checkout, enter the coupon code insider free, all caps, at checkout. Use that coupon code and you'll have access to JobSearch.Community for free. You can message other people and ask for advice, and that's going to help you. So again, use the resources that I'm making available freely. Now, will all of them be of help to you? Probably not, but certainly the interview one will, and certainly the one about job leads will, and the ones about salary negotiation and salary negotiation mistakes will. There's just a lot of stuff that I'm making available to all of you for free. Again, become an insider member at JobSearch.Community, and you'll have access to all the content, no charge from me. Okay, so insider free is the coupon code. Now, I've received a number of questions from folks that I'm going to try and address today. And let me get the first question. And again, if you've got a question for me, put your question into chat so I can answer it live. Okay. Now, first question I received in advance is it too late to reply to a recruiter who messaged me 1 month ago on LinkedIn? No, it's not too late. And I think an apology is in order. And the way to respond to them is to say, I'm sorry, I didn't see your message in my inbox on LinkedIn. It got buried under some others, and the long and the short of it is I missed it. It's probably too late for the opportunity that you approached me on, but if by some chance it's still available, let's figure out a time to speak so I can answer your questions. And by the way, if it is still available, tell me about the job. So this way I can talk about my background that's relevant to what your client needs. So by all means, get back in touch. The job may be gone, but what you're trying to do is establish a contact with someone, make an apology for the fact that you are not responsive, and thus reopen a door that you unintentionally or intentionally shut. I don't know which one it is, but the long and the short of it is connect with them, respond to them, make an apology, and have a conversation, okay? Now, I've got another question from someone. What is the worst mistake you can make in salary negotiations? I don't know if this is the worst one. The easy answer is not negotiating. But I think most people mistake when to begin negotiations. And actually, negotiations begin from the time they ask you the first question about what you're looking for. That's really when negotiations beginning. But most people think of it at the time of the offer. So what's the worst mistake you can make in salary negotiations? The answer is not negotiating. Not being clear about what it is that you're looking for in a role, not being clean with them about what you're looking for because you're feeling so desperate, and thus you're signaling to them that you'll take anything, and thus they're giving you anything. And what's happening is you've gotten a mediocre offer and you're not trying to improve it, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say not negotiating is mistake number one. Sorry about that. Is mistake number one. Mistake number two is not being honest about what it is that you're looking for in the next job or organization. And thus they think that they can get you on the cheap and they really can't. So that's the way I view it. Now, Mark is going to ask, Mark, welcome. After an initial TA HR phone screen, what is your opinion of a next interview with a hiring manager scheduled for only 30 minutes? It feels somewhat like a formality or favor rather than a real interview. I'm trying to manage my own expectations / emotions. What I would say to you, Mark, is treat it like a real interview. Now, there will be other interviews after this if you do well with this manager. Your job is to connect with them and demonstrate to them that you're a fit for the role. How do you do that? Now, you've probably seen a job description by this point, and you've spoken with HR, but the job description may not be completely accurate. So I would start off the interview, Mark, by saying, thanks so much for making time to meet with me today. I really appreciate it. I saw the job description where I spoke with HR and they gave me their take on the role, but I want to speak with you about it. Could you tell me about the job as you see it and what I can do to help? And what that's going to do is to get you the current thinking the manager has about the job. So you can talk about what you've done that matters to them in their current thinking about the role, as opposed to what their thinking was at the time that they started to create that job description, or more likely pulled it out of their HR systems and have been using that to screen people. So don't focus on the time, focus on the relationship. Make them fall in love. If you come in and are not particularly, I don't want to say salesy, but if you don't connect with people, Mark, they're not going to be interested in going any further. So make them fall in love so that they're going to want to continue more conversations. Unfortunately, you have an association with 30 minutes as though it's a formality or a favor. Maybe that's what you've done with other people, but that doesn't mean that that's what they do. They may just want to do some basic screening because the HR person is not well respected within the organization, or it's a new role for them to screen for. There's a million reasons why, but maybe it's also a hiring manager that's remarkably busy and HR has begged them for 30 minutes of time to speak with you. That can become 40 or 45 if they like you. So make them fall in love. Make that the focus of your meeting so that in this way they want to continue further conversations. So yes, and sometimes it is a formality, sometimes it is a favor, but don't work with that as the assumption. It doesn't serve you. Remember, this manager is someone you may run into 5 years from now. Maybe this manager is someone that you meet up with or recommends you, I should say, to someone else that they know within the organization. Maybe this manager is screening for 3 other managers. You haven't given me any indication of that. So the long and the short of it is make him or her love you. Have them create a great impression of them, with them, so that in this way they want to continue conversations. Okay. Again, I'm just going to mention, if you've got a question for me, put it into chat so I can answer it live, just like I have for Mark. Okay. I've got more questions that were sent to me. You're welcome, Mark. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Why do employment recruiters reach out to candidates who are unqualified for the position that they're promoting? Okay, so I'm going to work with the assumption that employment recruiters means agency recruiter, who are unqualified for the position that they're promoting, trying to fill. So I'm going to translate this into they're contacting you on LinkedIn, or they've received a copy of your resume, and they may be rookie recruiters in that case. Let me deal with LinkedIn first. LinkedIn sells a product called LinkedIn Recruiter to corporate and third-party recruiters that lets them search the entire database and send an in-mail to everyone that fits. They get 100 free in-mails a month. If you respond, an in-mail is credited back. So that maybe they sent that 100 in-mails, 25 people respond, they get 25 in-mails back. They're searching the database. They may not have time to actually read a profile. So what they're doing is bulk in-mailing people who have the right keywords, seniority level, and other attributes in their profile. Maybe it's degree, location, keywords, terms, whatever. And thus they're doing a bulk in-mail to people through the platform. Another example is, we searched our database, the same thing happened. We're bulk emailing people who have these terms in their background. Why are they sending it to unqualified people? Because they actually haven't looked. All they're doing is sending a mass email out to people. Same problem as on LinkedIn. So why do they do it? It's a time factor for them. They save time because the time that's wasted is yours, not theirs, right? So the fact of the matter is they're trying to get to as many people as they can so that in this way, they may be able to find someone who fits their client's role and thus be able to talk with you, fill a job, and they're not concerned that initially they're touching people or reaching out to people who aren't qualified. They don't care. They don't care. They only care about the ones that respond. All right? Now, if you've got a question for me again, actually, let me, instead of encouraging you to put your questions in the chat, I just want to remind you, for those of you who joined late, I'm giving away insider membership at JobSearch.Community. If you go there, scroll down, and you see Become an Insider, and click on that, and then choose the Insider tier, not any of the others, but the one that says Insider. Click on that. At checkout, enter the coupon code INSIDERFREE, all caps, and you'll have free membership at JobSearch.Community. Enjoy my video courses, books, and guides. They're there to help you. I'm doing this not because I'm trying to sell you, although if you come to me for coaching afterwards, yes, I will charge you, but I'm just trying to help more people. So become an insider at JobSearch.Community, and use the video courses, books, and guides I'm making available to you. And I'm going to be adding another one very soon on career change, another one for job search when you graduate college. There's a lot of material I'm going to be adding over the next few weeks to help more people. Okay. Now, I've got more questions from folks. And let's see now. What does it mean if you tell the recruiter you have no interest working for that hiring manager and he calls you 5 times? Why does he even care at this point? Well, I know why he cares. And the answer is because the hiring manager wants to talk to you, and they think they can persuade you to continue conversations. And if you continue conversations, maybe you change your mind, maybe they hire you and they earn a fee. And I'm not begrudging them that. I used to do that sometimes too. I'm not going to kid you about that. I try and have an honest conversation with folks to understand what their problem was with that hiring manager. But they're calling 5 times to try and persuade you to go back in because the manager is interested in talking with you, and they don't earn any money unless you go back and you're hired. So that's why they're doing it. They're trying to make a living, and by filling jobs. If they don't fill jobs, most of them are contingency, where contingency means they earn a commission contingent upon you receiving and accepting an offer from a firm that they represent, and that you remain in that firm's employ for some period of time that they're contractually obligated to fulfill. Could be 30 days, could be 90 days, could be 6 months. Some firms go so far as to say a year. But they want to have you continue conversations with their client so that they earn a commission. That's why they do it. Okay. Let's see now. How do you respond to a failed salary negotiation? Graciously. Let me elaborate. There we go. I don't know when that happened, so I apologize. How do you respond to a failed salary negotiation? So I'm going to work with the assumption that there was an offer extended, you tried to bargain, and they wouldn't change what they offered you. I'll consider that the type of failed negotiation that we're speaking about here. Thus, how do you respond is really very simple. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, to discuss this opportunity, but I'm going to choose not to join. We can't come to a common agreement on salary, and I'm not going to join. Keep it very simple. No anger, no criticisms, very simple. And the reason is you never know where you run into people again, right? And a lot of you will run into folks because you're early to mid-stage career professionals. This person's at a manager level. They're going to become more senior. You may run into them in a variety of venues and situations. So be gracious, be polite, be courteous. No yelling and screaming, no being critical. Just thank them and say, we can't come to an agreement that I find satisfactory. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be joining. I wish you well. If things change, reach out to me. Maybe your budget changes. Maybe you realize that my value is higher than you originally assessed for. But for now, I'm not going to be joining. Keep it very simple. Okay. Again, JobSearch.Community, free, insider free at checkout on the insider tier of membership. You will get a lot from that. Okay. I just submitted a job application. How long should I expect to wait for a response? Well, we don't know if you're even qualified. Okay. We don't know if you're qualified. We don't know if they've already reviewed 250 resumes and have 15 people scheduled. That's the reality to it. So what I want to encourage you to do is not focus on that. What I want you to do, instead of focusing on waiting for a response, I might say day after, not the next day, but the one after, you send a quick note to the HR person, the hiring manager, whoever it is that you submitted your application to. And by the way, why are you applying for jobs? Why don't you network your way in? Statistics bear out that networking is the dominant way that people find work. Not applying for jobs, not going to job boards, not applying on LinkedIn. It's networking and getting an introduction to someone who's in the position of hiring. But now that you've done that, not the next day, but the one after that, I'd send a quick note to whoever it was that the resume went to and said, I uploaded a resume the day before last. I haven't heard from you. I know you're probably busy, but this is what my background is that relates to the role, and make a case for why they should talk to you. Remember, they're busy people. They're not just going to look because you submitted an application. You may have been screened out by an applicant tracking system because you have no relevance to what they're looking for. I used to get resumes of Purdue chicken pluckers who were applying for Java development jobs, and there wasn't even an indication that they drank Java coffee. So, wait the day after, not the next day, but the one after that, in order to follow up on your resume, and just simply say, uploaded a resume 2 days ago, haven't heard from you, I'm sure you're busy. This is the position I applied to, and I just think my background would fit this role. There we go. My background fits this role. This is what I've done that relates to the position. I hope to speak with you soon and maybe schedule an initial screening conversation. Keep it very simple, okay? I'm going to be on for another 5 minutes, and I have to prepare for a 1 o'clock class I'm teaching. So I'll just simply say, if you've got a question, get it into chat now, because really at 12:30 I'll be over with today's Career Coach office hours. Okay. Ooh, long question. Let's see now. I've applied and interviewed for jobs for about 8 months now. I've made it to the last round of a couple of these positions, and for whatever reason, I don't get selected. Hours upon hours preparing. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Preparing, even creating presentation material to just be sent a rejection email. I feel like my confidence has been completely destroyed, and I'm finding it really hard to not just cry every day. Comparison really is the thief of joy, but it's exhausting to see others around who have the same qualifications but get luckier in their search. I guess I just like to know I'm not alone in this job market. You are not alone. Your story I've heard many times, and people are getting frustrated, and with good reason. You're competing with a lot of other people. Now, I've got a course on final interviews at JobSearch.Community. And one of the things I believe in when you get to a final interview is that you're still competing with a couple of other people. And often what has happened up until this point, let's say you're one of 3 people who's going back. You may each have a weak part of your background, but there's enough good stuff there that they want to keep going and they're not ready to reject you. So as one of 3 people, for all we know, you're the first choice going back or the third choice going back. But there's an unresolved question that exists in their mind for many of you that you're not doing a good enough job addressing. If you think back on your final interviews and think back on your interviews before the final interview and think about the rough edges to your background vis-a-vis these particular positions, often there was something that surfaced earlier that you should have been talking about at the time of the final interview. So again, I just want to encourage you going forward. That's your homework assignment. Think about that final interview. Think about the previous interviews and where the rough spots were. And again, one of the courses I have up on JobSearch.Community is about final interview preparation. So again, become an insider by going to JobSearch.Community, clicking on Become an Insider, choose the option for insider membership because I've got 6 levels of membership there. And at checkout, enter the code INSIDERFREE, all caps, and you'll have access to all the content there to work with. You can buy my stuff on Amazon. You can get access to the video courses at thebiggamehunter.us, but I'm giving it all to you for free instead of having to pay for things. So I hope you take me up on this offer. Again, it ends at midnight, February 1st. So that's at the end of January 31st. It goes back to being a service I'm charging for at $49 a month. Message me if you like it. Give me feedback on what you're seeing there. So in this way, I can improve the material based upon your feedback. So I hope you found today's show helpful. I'll be back next Tuesday with more. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. People hire me for no BS job search coaching and career advice globally because I make the process of finding work and succeeding at it much easier. Connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. Message that you watch this. I like knowing I'm helping some folks. Once we're connected, your network is going to be a lot larger. Again, that's linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. And again, join JobSearch.Community as an insider for free so that in this way you get access to all my content. I hope you have a terrific day and most importantly, be great. Take care.